Good morning. My name is Ellen Miles. I'm the Programming and Outreach Coordinator at the Camas Public Library, and you are watching one of our local author chats. I'm very happy today to be interviewing Tim Tran, a wonderful local author who's written a wonderful memoir that I'm excited to talk to him about. So Tim, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thank you very much, Ellen. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead. All right, well, I guess we'll just jump in with the first question if you are ready.
Sure, I'm ready.
Okay, wonderful. It's really easy. I'm just hoping that you'll tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I was born and raised in Vietnam. In 1970, at the age of 20, I received an academic scholarship to study in the US. I was sent to Pacific University in Forest Grove, Oregon. That's where my initial connection with Oregon started. I spent the first 2 years of college in Pacific University. And then for my junior and senior year, I transferred to the University of California, Berkeley, not because it's a liberal school, but because I like to have a better education, more well-known credential. I graduated from Berkeley in 1974 and returned to, and according to the condition of the scholarship that I accepted, I had to return to South Vietnam upon graduation. I returned to South Vietnam in September 1974, and I landed a very good job with Shell Oil in Vietnam. And however, in April 1975, South Vietnam was overrun by the communists. The attack against Saigon was so fast that the American embassy were forced to cut short the evacuation, and I was stuck in Saigon. Shell Vietnam was nationalized by the communist government, and I was suspected of being a CIA agent. I wrote about that in detail in my book. I found life increasingly difficult and dangerous, and I was forced to flee. During my multiple attempts to escape, I encountered deceit, betrayal, and even murder. Finally, in 1975, I escaped with approximately 350 people in a rickety, overcrowded boat and faced pirate attack and months in a Malaysian refugee camp before I settled in Portland, Oregon in 1980. I found an entry-level accounting position with Johnson Supply. It's a wholesaler of heating, ventilation, air conditioning, refrigeration. They call it HVACR. In 1984, I earned a master's degree of administration through night school at Portland State University, and I was appointed Johnstone Supply Chief Financial Officer, CFO, and Vice President of Finance. I retired in 2003 from Johnstone and devoted my time to teaching finance and taxes at a very local university. That's the short version of my life.
Well, that's great. I mean, gosh, it's so eventful. You've been through so much. Well, so the book that you wrote, American Dreamer, what was it like to write that book?
Well, the first thing is it was more difficult and took a lot more time to write my book than I previously anticipated. I wrote, edited, and re-edited my writing many times. I guess that's how I work. I always go back and check. Before I send the complete work, this is gotta be a complete work to my ghostwriter. His name is Tom Meyer. Tom made available, very valuable editing and very important structural change to my draft. We spent over a year and a half for telephone and in-person discussion to get to the final version of the book. However, I consider that time well spent.
That's great. And then once you had written it and edited it, how did it get published?
Well, I have deep love connection to Pacific University. I wrote in my book that Berkeley gave me a good education, but Pacific University made me a better person. And so Pacific usually call me every year to ask me to make a donation. So when I always, try to make some kind of annual donation every year. However, when they call me in 2017 about annual donation, I suggest that we discuss a major donation of gift, cash, and other assets to be made during my wife's and my lifetime. And also, following out that, the asset would go to Pacific University. And they were surprised. So when we were talking about the term and condition and so on and so forth, during our negotiation, I also let Pacific University know that I want to write my memoir and asked Pacific University to first arrange to have a ghostwriter to work with me to write my memoir. And secondly, to publish my memoir under the Pacific University Press. And then that's how my book get published by Pacific University.
Wow, that's great. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
And then I was wondering if during that whole process of the writing and the working with the ghostwriter and the publishing, was there anything that surprised you during all of that?
Yes, there's something that I didn't anticipate. And as a beginning memoir writer, I wrote my draft in chronological order from day one to the last day. It should go just like that because it was easy and it was obvious for a beginning writer. Tom Meyer, my ghostwriter, made major changes of my writing from the chronological style to what he calls a dramatic story structure. That new style, he explained, should be start with something that catches the reader's attention. So he started with a tension-filled sentence. This quote, "This was not how my life was supposed to end, and yet it was difficult to imagine any other outcome." So he explained this is going to make the reader curious and draw their attention to the story. And that made all the difference in the story. Wow. The second surprise thing to me was I was so overwhelmed how well my memoir was received and comment on Amazon.com. And the book received a number of awards. In short, The American Dreamer received 4 major gold medals. So it was something that overwhelmed me. I didn't write a book to get an award. Mm-hmm. And this just came as a total surprise. But still, I was very pleased. And this is, to me, is the result of hard work, good ghostwriter, and very, very patient. Try to get things done the right way.
Yeah. Gosh, well, I'm glad that you won all those awards and it ended on such a positive note for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Did you have any piece of advice you would give to aspiring authors?
Okay, since my writing experience is limited to memoir, for the aspiring memoir writing author, I would like to share with you or with them as well what worked for me. I don't mean this is advice because I'm just an amateur, but I will share what worked for me. Number one, I established at the very beginning that my ultimate goal is to get published. That's the main thing. A lot of people didn't have the goal is to get published, so they just come along, write, and then kind of drop the project. In my case, I gotta get published. Number two, I clearly define the theme or the key of my story. What I want to write about, two things: my escape from communist Vietnam and my so-called, quote, successful life in America. This helped me to define my time frame and select what to include in the story, and more importantly, what to exclude, because what to exclude is as important as what to include. And third thing is I made very serious commitment to my time and effort to write regularly. I wrote every day, at least 6 hours a day. I make sure that I did the required research. I make sure that I fact check. I make sure that I rewrite and edit and re-edit. And lastly, I realized that for a memoir to succeed, my story must be true, including passion, candor, and wit. I make sure to include all of the above. So those are the ones that I want to share how my piece was successful.
Yeah, that's great. Those are really good pieces of advice, all of those. Okay, next question. What is one of your favorite books that you would recommend to everyone?
Absolutely. This is a tough question. Personally, I prefer sitting down reading the book and watching a video. So to me, that's my favorite activity. I recently came across one of my favorite books and that I would recommend to everyone. The title is Into Thin Air by John Krakauer, Krakauer. This book, published in 1997, is a personal account of the guided action to my effort, which resulted in terrible cost of life. It reads exactly like a memoir of a true story. So I would recommend that to anybody who like to write a memoir. This is a good one to learn from.
Yeah, I've read that one, and it's excellent. Yeah, it's excellent.
It's amazing.
It is. Yeah.
I read it in 2 days.
Yeah, it's very fast, and we do have it in the library too. So in the
oh really? That's wonderful. Yeah, those are good books to be.
It is. Yeah.
You know, to be included in a library.
Yep. And in the YouTube link description, I will link to the book so people can get it from the library.
Thank you. That helps.
All right, so we do have a couple of questions from the audience. People have written in some questions. So Jen from Camas wants to know, when did you first have the idea for writing your memoir?
Well, since my retirement from Johnson Supply in 2003, and I have a lot of time devoted to teaching. But in the back of my mind, most of my friends, if not all of them, who knew my story say, you gotta write a book. And I wrote in the book that the problem of writing a long story and the expense and time consuming act of getting it published was a deterrent from writing a book. However, once I got the commitment from Pacific University to find a ghostwriter for me, as well as publish my book. Now, those two biggest obstacles was removed, so I decided to teach less and write more. It doesn't work because there's always competing the competition for time. So I decided, to take a leave from teaching and devote kind of like a lot of hours, at least 6 hours of writing, editing, and do other things for the book. So that's what I did. I consider it's time well spent, and also in a final analysis, I got my dream job, writing my memoir with the help of a professional, with the promise of publication from my alma mater. So that's how I get to write a book.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's great. All right, a second question from the audience. Charles, also from Camas, asks, when you were writing this book, where did you like to do it?
You mean where to write?
Yeah, I think he's asking, like, were you in your house? Did you go out to a cafe?
I usually, the lucky thing is I'm alone because my wife still got a very busy job. So I was alone at my house and I write it right here. This is where we call this my library. And I just sit down and write a book and devote the full time. I don't have to worry about anything. I have no interruption. It's make it easy. I don't like to go to a kind of coffee shop to write a book because it's too distracting. Secondly, when I write, I want to be devoting the entire attention to the job, and writing at home in my library like this is just perfect. It fit me well, and it's give me an opportunity to do quality work.
That's great. That's great. All right. Well, so how can people find you and find the book?
Yeah. The book is listed on Amazon. That's Amazon.com, and you can go in and look at the title called American Dreamer or Tim Tran American Dreamer. So it's pretty easy. As a matter of fact, Amazon sell the book for only about $10. So it's pretty inexpensive.
That's great.
Another thing is, if you visit my book website, really simple, www.timtranAmericanDreamer.com. That's my name, Tim Tran, followed by book title American Dreamer, all in one word. You can also buy the book in major bookstores, and I'm very pleased that you can check with Camas Library and your library, wherever, and it could be available as well. And as a matter of fact, I think a lot of people complaining about paying too much tax. To me, supporting a library, I don't consider that tax. Now, I think it's a way to support intellectual curiosity and serve the lofty goal of the library. That's my personal opinion.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we do try to help intellectual curiosity. We try to help.
And the last thing is, if you want to check my Facebook page, pretty simple. That's facebook.com/TimTran. No, do it again here. Facebook.com/TranTim2000. However, I gotta admit, I'm not a very active poster on Facebook. I don't spend a lot of time go on Facebook reading and posting. So there's some limited information on my Facebook page. But if you want, that's still an option.
Wonderful. And I'll link to all of those in our YouTube video description as well.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, those are all of my questions. Would you like to read an excerpt from your book?
Absolutely. Yeah. Let me get the book. This page that I'm reading is on page 355, and probably the last page that I wrote for the story. All right, here we go. I hope people will remember me as an American, a naturalized citizen of the United States of America, who, through hard work and determination, overcame the most difficulties and hardships that were thrown my way, who attained some modest success and had the opportunity to give back. I will be forever grateful to the country that I adopt and that adopted me, and to all the people who helped me along the way, including my professor, college friend, my mentor, my business associate. Fate had truly blessed me. I do have one regret. I have managed to repay the financial debt I owe my friend, but I have not found a way to repay the tremendous debt of gratitude I owe America. I have often heard people say, quote, "It's great to serve your country," end quote. I would love to have the opportunity to serve my country, the United States of America, because I feel so fortunate to have a great country to serve. And that's the paragraph I like to read.
That's wonderful. That's so touching. That's so touching. Thank you, Tim. Well, we've reached the end of our local author chat for today. So again, thank you so much, Tim, for joining me this morning. This was fascinating. And we've been live on Facebook, but I'm going to put this on YouTube so people can watch it anytime on our channel.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'll see you later, Tim.
Yeah, see you later too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.